Alright, hello everybody, and good afternoon. There is a marginal risk of severe weather across portions of Illinois today, into Wisconsin and eastern Iowa, which will include the chance for a tornado or two, isolated damaging wind gusts, and some isolated large hail as well. Looking into some of the forecast models, we can see that aloft we have an impressive system, which is not surprising for the time of year. We have one low pressure in Arizona, which is going to cause some winter weather across the southwestern United States. And then we have another low pressure system, upper low pressure system in Minnesota, which inherently drags down a cold front, something like that. Or wait, no, the cold front would be further to the west, but either way, it would drag down. I don't know why my device is dragging down, but it would have a cold front, something like that, and then drags down a dry line, which is pretty rare for the Midwest, something like this. So that dry line is going to be the focal point for storm development today, along with a 700 millibar shortwave that's going to be positioned across central Illinois, western central Illinois, and that 700 millibar shortwave is generally placed in here. So this will be the focal zone for storm development, probably 4 to 5 p.m. Now looking into 12Z soundings, we could probably get a look at some of the environment that might be kind of inherited. Should also pull up mesoscale analysis too. Okay. So there is a 992 millibar low position over South Dakota right now. A large amount of warm air is being positioned further to the north, and we have a lot of warm air advection. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. We have a lot of warm air advection kind of positioning itself further to the north. Currently along that said low, we have dew points of the 40s and into the lower 50s. Our 50-degree dew point line is positioned currently here. We are expecting low 50s dew points to reach the Midwest later today, so we will see if that happens. Currently, we don't have much at all of instability. We have a little bit of most unstable Cape. Here is a look at some 12Z soundings. Here's OUN, and we can see this is the type of wind profile we are expecting in the Midwest today. These thermals should be mixed out a little bit more by the time, because we're going to have a 60, 61, 62 degree surface temperature across some of these areas. But we are expecting photographs like this, which is why there is going to be a pretty solid threat for a tornado in February across Illinois. And then thermodynamically, we're not really expecting this setup to be too compelling, but there will be a lot of cold air aloft, which will help. Let's look into our HRRR, and we can go back and we can see there's 700 millibar. We're gonna have a 55 knot shortwave there. Into the lower levels, a 40 to 50 knot low level jet is expected, and we are expecting storm initiation around 4 to 5 p.m. 5 p.m. is when, or 4 p.m. is when the HRRR initiates in western Illinois here. This IR imagery shows the storm cluster that would eventually go up in fire on this run and turn into some colder tops. Negative 48 degrees Celsius is not too bad for this time of the year. Low 50s dew points are expected with this. Maybe some middle up 50s dew points up in the Geneseo, Illinois area. But in that area, you're probably going to have a surface inversion with those. Yep, there is definitely a surface inversion here. which will probably help so that storms really don't fire, and if they do fire in this environment, they will probably be elevated or struggle to become surface-based. Ahead of that storm forming in western Illinois, we can see that we will have an issue today, and that is the potential for a surface inversion like this to show up. Our hodograph is perfectly fine and actually very good. We have a lot of cold air aloft, which should help, but the surface inversion could tear apart our small supercells. Now, looking into some point soundings, the surface inversion is not as apparent, especially close to the storm, because our surface temperatures warm up into the mid-60s, which actually creates 1,000 joules per kilogram of CAPE, and very little SYN-H. And our lapse rates rise to 9 Celsius per kilometer in the low levels as well. So taking point soundings there reveals that the environment will be conducive, especially within the first probably hour of initiation, for some tornado potential. 23Z, the furthest south storm, the environment is not really favorable for tornadoes. You have a very strong surface inversion here, which will kind of help prevent the tornado risk. There will be definitely some hail with that storm. This northern storm up here may still have a tornado threat. Yeah, that surface inversion is lighter, so if the storm is previously surface-based, it could tap into that. But I think the window for tornadoes today is rather short. There probably will be a storm or two that fire up in Wisconsin too, and that's going to be more of your typical cold core environment up there, more central Wisconsin, where this little blip of reflectivity is. You have the more warm front. That still isn't your classic cold core. Looks like the warm front's going to be all the way over here, and your low's up here. So this is just a normal setup that's really not cold core at all. And we actually have a dry line that extends into Illinois too, which is definitely not normal. By this point though, we're not expecting the instability to be as high, especially where these storms are going to tap into. Maybe 600 joules per kilogram for the northern storms, which is why those things might still be surface-based. But the window is going to be short because these storms are going to fly out of the zone that's going to be a lot more conducive for tornadoes pretty quickly. You can see here the surface temperatures further to the east are not going to be as strong. There's a good belt of 60s that end up getting into kind of the central Illinois region, but that's not going to be enough to kind of help everywhere. RRFS with the 9Z run shows storm development at 5 p.m. near Galesburg, Illinois. Taking a point sounding in front of this development, we can see that it probably would be surface-based at first, but storms fire further to the north as well. Up near Geneseo, those would probably be surface-based as well. And we can see that we have several different supercells that evolve, one near Peoria, one near Wyoming, Illinois, and then one up by the Dixon and the Rock River area. These move eastward. That one down in central Illinois becomes quite strong. That would be interesting to say the least. And yeah, these photographs are going to be ridiculous across the board, so we're not going to have to worry about that. Let's look at the end of the run and see kind of the helicity tracks that we're dealing with here. So the 0 to 3 kilometer helicity tracks that we're dealing with, this is the general zone. Maybe we get an upgraded slight risk for hail later today. That wouldn't surprise me, but overall, I'm not expecting it to be for tornadoes. Alright, thank you for watching my quick weather update for today. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.